Welcome to Howz Yer Stool, the show where we pull up a stool and find out if things are really going. Not just the gigs, not just the music, but what's happening when the amps and lights get turned off. Because if you ask a musician how they're doing, you'll get one answer, but if you check their stool, you might get the truth. I'm your host, Dave Randall, and today I'm sitting down with the charming and insightful Tatum Quinn. So let's get a stool sample. Hey everybody, I'm sitting here with Tatum Quinn, and it's been a long time coming, getting her some time in her very busy schedule to sit down. And if you've been paying attention to the podcast, you know that it's mostly old guys like me that telling their old stories, and I really felt it was time for a fresh look at what the music scene is like for a young person starting her career and getting out there. But let's, as we always do, start at the beginning and let us know a little bit about, where you come from, and then we'll get into like what got you interested in music. So
yeah, okay, great. So it's really awesome to be here with you. I always love the times we get to chat, even though it's been, here and there.
Yeah.
There's always so much insight that I love to get from you. So I was raised here in Montreal, born and raised. My dad is American. My mom is Canadian. Funny enough, they actually grew up oppositely. My mom studied school in Florida and like her high schooling and everything, and my dad was here in Montreal.
Okay.
Ended up meeting here in Montreal at some point because obviously they're both from here. But me and all my brothers I have 3 older brothers, and we're all born and raised here, but we're also a dual citizen.
Okay.
Canada.
That's
and
convenient.
America. It's very convenient for the music industry.
For now, anyway.
Yeah. I shouldn't say too much. But yes, it's very convenient. I've been, even the boys and we've talked about, some visa stuff for like playing music in the States because I can, but my bandmates can't.
Oh, yeah.
But that being said, whatever. Yeah, so grew up here, my whole family is very musical.
Okay.
So I had a very, very musical upbringing. My dad has always been into music. He's a drummer. He saved up all of his money when in the 70s to buy the John Bonham American like drum kit that he still has in like pristine condition.
So he still plays?
He plays from time to time. He doesn't play often anymore, but him and I have a deal that on the day I get to play the Bell Center, he'll come up for one song.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
So we're very close. Me and my family, we're super, super tight.
Awesome.
My brothers are my best friends. I just went to Comic-Con with my dad. Literally ditched the boyfriend, went with my dad, was like, let's do this, So my mom's always been really into music as well. She always dreamed of playing piano, but she never got a piano. They were never able to really afford a piano. They found an organ. My grandparents found an organ one day, brought it home. My mom was pissed. She did not want to play organ. She wanted to play piano.
Okay.
And this was not doing it for her. But my mom's a huge music lover. Her and I share the same favorite band, and that would be Aerosmith.
Oh, nice.
Steven Tyler is both our gods for different reasons. My mom wishes she could marry him. I wish I could sing like that. Or not sing like that, but he's a big influence of mine.
Sure.
He's like one of the main reasons as to why I got into singing rock music in the first place.
Oh, okay.
But I remember as a kid, my parents, they wanted us to do activities. But so they did the typical, do you want any sports? Not really. Do you want dance? I'll try it. Not really. And all my brothers played instruments. So my brother, Brandon, he's actually a prodigy bass player.
Oh.
He's like insane. He was playing clubs like when he was like 13. It was really crazy. He used to practice 8 hours a day, every single day. His fingers would bleed. He'd tape his fingers and continue to play.
Wow.
My mom, when we would get in trouble, she would take away his bass, not his computer, not his phone, his bass. He used to sleep in bed with his bass.
All right, that's a problem.
Yeah, it was a thing for sure. But he was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, he's been a big role model to me music-wise, but he really, like, I can't say he gave up the music thing, because he still plays for himself.
Okay.
But
He's not doing it for a living.
No, and he decided that very early on that he didn't want to do that anymore. He's a bit more of a homebody for sure. Doesn't always love to socialize as much, so he's like a big gamer. Just loves like the technical stuff like that. So now he like will write music for himself, kind of like Flight of the Conchords. So
Yes.
just kind of playful, funny things. And we used to do that as kids all the time. So we used to make up songs or play stupid songs like Stacy's Mom, which I call it stupid, but I love it. It's one of my favorite songs. So.
I know. I love that pop punk era of the 90s. Yeah.
It was so fantastic. I'm glad I got to see it, because I was born in the 90s, but I'm a late 90s, like I'm 96.
Okay.
So I really grew up in the early 2000s.
Right.
But because, my brothers were older than me, like my oldest brother, we're 7 years apart.
Okay.
But we're 4 days apart in our birthdays. And we would just do all these things together, despite like the age range. It didn't matter. We would all come together and play these different instruments and make all these different songs, and it really didn't matter. Like, music just brought us all together.
Yeah.
So I might have missed something, but
I'm just wondering if you ever got that piano you wanted, or if maybe your dad put on a Deep Purple album for you so you could listen to was it John? No, was it Ian Pace or John Lord was the organist in the Deep Purple? Yeah, because that organ sound is very rock and roll.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that, actually, because so we do have pianos in the house. Growing up, we had 2 like saloon pianos.
Okay.
With the ivory keys, beautiful. We never had like a finished basement until recently, and now it flooded.
Oh,
so,
yes. Oh, no.
Yeah, all the gear got lost.
No way.
Yeah, we lost all the gear. We lost so much
So
gear.
sad.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Insurance?
I'm like, hopefully.
Oh,
My
man.
dad's on it. But yeah, we used to, go into the unfinished basement. It's all concrete.
Yeah.
We have like the drum kit there. My oldest brother Mike would play drums. Brandon would play bass, and my brother Daniel would play the guitar. And I would sing, and we would do Stacy's Mom. But growing up in the 90s, like having brothers that were, my oldest brother was 89, and then my other brothers were born in the 90s.
Okay.
And I got to see like the dial-up computers. Like I really got to live that whole experience. So I feel very grateful about that, because I feel like it was a really important time that people now aren't going to get.
That's right. You're appreciating where it was, and
Yeah.
and it's amazing what's available today.
Yeah, I'm also a big collector of like the old kind of gadgets. I
Oh,
say
yeah?
old, but yes, because I mean I collect cassettes. I collect I collect CDs, I collect vinyls. I have like tons of the different iPods. I have like a boombox, my CD Walkman, like all these things. Like I can't get rid of them. They're my life. They were my lifeline at one point.
I don't necessarily collect, but I guess, well, My wife would call me a hoarder because I do have I have over there a Roland TR-707 drum machine, which I recently looked up on. There's a violin sitting on top of it, but recently looked it up, and it was worth a few bucks, but way more than I paid for it. That's for. But and there's another recording machine up there. Yeah, there's a lot of. It's fun to have that vintage stuff around.
Yeah, for sure. And you can really, like, we kind of nerd out a little bit. Like, you can really hear the difference in sound quality and everything. So I listen to most of my stuff on vinyl just because I love the crackling and the big sound waves kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But obviously I was like a big CD girl. Growing up and everything like that. Well,
by the time you were born, I would say that they probably weren't pressing too many albums anymore.
Yeah, it was a big CD time for sure. And that was actually what I was gonna say. After the piano thing, growing up, my parents, like, they didn't really care about the schooling thing. Which is really odd to say because most parents, like, that's the thing, you know, it's like you have to do good in school and you can do music as a hobby. My parents saw it a different way. They figured you can do music and you can do school as a hobby. So I remember coming home from school and I think it was this way because my dad is dyslexic.
Okay.
My oldest brother, Mike, is dyslexic. I'm dyslexic. And we also all have ADHD pretty severely. So if you see me bouncing, you'll know why.
I don't know. I'm quite familiar with that. So,
yeah.
So hence the music thing. Keeps all parts of your brains firing, so you're occupied all the time.
But I think that's why there was like a lot of leniency there because, you know, my dad, he dropped out of high school when on his like third time of grade 9. He was very successful in his like business career, but that's because he snuck into schools, like universities, made friends with the teachers, and they allowed him to sit in on the classes for free. They gave him exams. They said, like, we can't grade your exams, but, you know, when the other kids get them, you can compare and whatever. And my dad did that. Like, my dad hustled.
Oh, that's very clever.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And I remember, you know, I struggled so much in high school. In any school. I redid grade 3. I got held back. I don't speak French very well. Dyslexia comprehension is like a really big struggle point. So learning languages to me are like not a thing. As much as I would love to, and I've been trying really hard to speak French and get better at it, I just sound really English.
Yeah, I don't. Me too. My wife is French, and she teaches the kids there. But I never. I grew up in a time when French wasn't as necessary. There were no language laws when I was growing up, so there was all that. And then when I started my work career, I worked almost exclusively for U.S. companies, and so there was no language requirement. However, I remember visiting Hydro-Quebec. They were a customer, and the whole meeting was in French, and I'm like, they had. Here, you want to nerd out? Yeah. So programming in the C programming language, they actually had a compiler for the C programming language so that you could write the syntax in French text. So like common phrase in C programming would be an if till loop. So they would C condition fait. I'm like, oh my God, these guys are going to be hard to support. I don't even think they do that in France.
No.
Anyway, so with the French thing, hasn't held you back though, do you think?
School-wise, yes.
Well, school, sure.
But music-wise, no.
No.
Definitely not. And we do have, you know, we're actually very fortunate because we got accepted to a really major festival here in Quebec.
Okay.
And it's called Music for Cancer. And it's like it's a pretty big festival. We're actually opening the show on a Thursday. It's in September.
Okay.
And I was just talking with my bandmates about like how I'm going to have to get my French in order to do this festival.
Yeah.
But they were saying, or I could do the French part. Like my guitarist, he's like, well, I could do the French part. So, yeah, there's going to be give and take for sure.
I'm sure if you try,
Yeah.
you'll endear yourself to the audience. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, most of the people I work with are French.
Yeah.
So I always try with them and everybody. It's always a good laugh and whatever. But yeah, I would love to be better at languages. My brothers are fantastic at languages. But I didn't get that gene.
Yeah, no, me neither. Absolutely not. I wasn't a bad student. I was actually a pretty good student in math and sciencey stuff, but languages, nuh-uh. And I always remember this story. I was in Paris on business, and I was taking the metro, and there was a guy just sitting there on the metro, and he was turning and talking to everybody in the car in their language. I was like,
that's crazy.
like fluently, like no issue.
Yeah.
And he wasn't like trying to raise money or anything. He was just doing it for fun.
It's
and
fantastic.
it would be nice to have that skill, but you communicate with your music.
Yeah.
And you get through to
that's
everybody.
Another thing, you know. Like one of the lyrics that always stick with me is from Stevie Wonder. And he says, "Music is a world within itself, with a language we all understand, with an equal opportunity to sing, dance, and clap their hands." To me, it just makes so much sense because I've met people from all over the world, and we can't speak the same language, but we're at a concert and we're the best of friends.
Yeah.
It's happened so many times I can't even keep count. So it really is that music brings people together, whether you can speak the same language or you can't.
Yeah.
So I feel very fortunate to have had very supportive parents, like in that respect. Coming home, instead of, hey, you got to go do your homework, it was, hey, go pick a CD off our massive CD wall. We're going to listen to it, and then we're going to tell you the information about this band and the writing style and all these things. It's like a big core memory of my life growing up, and we would do it like with all my brothers, with everything, and I loved it because I could listen to music from Ray Charles to Black Sabbath, and I was getting exposed to all this fantastic music, hence why I went towards the rock field, rather than kind of more of that generic pop thing,
music,
which was very
popular
at that time. I mean, I still listen to it on my CD Walkman. I used to jump on my bed listening to Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, the Spice Girls, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. Like that was a core thing that I had going on as well.
Sure.
But it was always met, like the counter was always met with like that really great rock music, which really I think made me who I am today, made me appreciate different styles of music. I love all kinds of music, minus a couple genres.
Well, that's what's for it. If it hits you, then it sticks. But there are some, I try to appreciate all different styles of music.
Yeah.
As an example, I put Saturday Night Live on, and what was the show? Oh, it was the show with Kendrick Lamar, and I didn't know what to. I knew the name, but I didn't know. And they have a lot of different new rap, and I don't even know if that's the right word anymore. But anyway, I didn't know what to expect. But he came out, and I really enjoyed his performance, even though I would never listen to him on the radio or put him on Spotify. But I thought that was well done.
You can appreciate it. Yeah, I totally agree. I'm not the biggest Kendrick fan. I think he's fantastic at his craft. I know he's supported by Eminem, which is like, I think he might even be on Eminem's record label.
Yeah.
Which Eminem is actually one of my biggest inspirations.
Yes, I read that about you.
Yeah, craziest thing to say.
No, I think he's inspired a lot of people. Just his go forward and don't take any shit from people. Just do make the music.
Yeah, and I remember my mom got a lot of hate because when I was 13, she bought me my first Eminem CD, and it was cleaning out my closet. And I hadn't heard Eminem by that point. Like, I didn't even know who he was. Like, my brothers might have listened to him a bit, but I really had I was 13. I had no idea of really anything at that time. And I was getting really into songwriting at that time. And my mom, she came up to me and she was like, look, there's a lot of profanity in this album, but I want you to look past this. I want you to look past that while listening to this album. She said, I think that as somebody going into songwriting, this is an artist that you really need to pay attention to, because he, in my opinion, is one of the greatest lyricists of all times.
Yeah.
And my mom felt that way. And she, she was very vocal about that. And I had a love affair at that point, with everything I was listening to. And sure, yeah, there was a lot of profanity, there was violence, whatever. But
that was his life.
Yeah. And as a 13-year-old kid, you're also not who grew up in the West Island of Montreal. Like, you're not really understanding the full extent of what that actually entails. So it was really interesting, but she got a lot of hate for that because,
Yes.
Other parents judging her, teachers judging her. I remember, like, in high school, like, when I was in high school, I got told when I was in grade 9, that I was at a grade 4 reading level.
Okay.
And I never read. Like, I literally never read. To this day, I might have read 2 books. And I'm going to be 30 next month. So I came on to, Audible too late. Like, I found out about Audible too late. But we had to do some reading stuff in classes. And we had a substitute teacher. And I brought this, like, Eminem biography, essentially. It had tons of pictures in it, but it had a lot of writing as well. And I do really well, like, where I'm going to stay a lot more focused if there's a lot of pictures and it's not just a sheet of writing. There's, like, I can get through one paragraph, picture, maybe another small paragraph kind of thing. And the teacher that I had was out to get me for that, like, she said, this is not a book that she accepts me to be reading in the class. Although there wasn't anything, like, there was no profanity in the book. It was just his life story. And I asked her, I said, like, well, don't you want me to read? Like, I'm not going to read your glass castle. I'm sorry. Like, like, I know people love it, but, like, if I'm going to read, it's going to be stuff that's very specific.
Sure.
To keep my interest. So it got to a point where she took the book from me and she wouldn't even give it back to me, like, at the end of the day. Like, she was like, no, I'm not even, like, giving you back this book. My mom had to go in full mama bear. She really is. And she got me that book back, but, and I was able to read it in class after that, but with glares and whatever. But it was an important, it was an important book to me, and there was just a lot of hate around him because of, he had a lot of, like, controversy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he grew up in a really troubled environment.
Yeah,
poor and his mom was a mess and everything. Yeah, I mean,
Munchausen syndrome.
Yeah.
She would drug him. He thought he was sick for so long. But another reason why my mom wanted to introduce me to Eminem was because he's dyslexic.
Oh, okay.
And that's why, like, he has that backwards E in his, like...
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah, he writes it, like, with the second E is backwards. And on all of his albums, like, the lyrics and everything, like, always the E's are backwards kind of thing. It's like a branding thing now. But it all kind of came from all of his learning challenges. And he read the dictionary like 5, 6, 7 times to just really have all those words that he can like grasp that he at any time that he wanted. But he struggled a lot in school, and my mom just wanted me to know that school isn't the only thing that you need to be prioritizing.
Yeah.
So I felt very grateful to have that type of support, because it was rough for me. It was, I got held back 2 grades. I did summer school every single year of my life for the entirety of my schooling. I had tutors like 4 times a week, minimum 3 hours a day after school. I had all my specialized tutoring. So
you really tried.
I tried, and I did not succeed.
Well, I think we could say fairly that the system failed.
It did.
Because in the 90s and early 2000s, even like, it's only in recent years that dyslexia has been recognized, and that there are specialists who now understand how to help people with that. And
100%.
And yeah, you just didn't. But very admirable that you kept at it and kept trying. And obviously, your parents were very supportive to help you do all that stuff too. So that's fantastic.
Well, my dad came from that time where they didn't know what dyslexia was.
Of course.
So they would call him lazy all the time, and inevitably that's why he dropped out of school.
When did he learn that he was dyslexic?
Later in life, actually. Like, he always had a hunch, but it wasn't, like, accessible to really, like, check that. So later in life he did. I don't remember what age, but it might have been around, because I got diagnosed with dyslexia when I was 8 years old. So I believe it was around a similar time, actually. So he was quite a lot older.
Yeah, well, I guess at that time there was just more awareness of what this was. Yeah.
And now it's like financially impossible to go get yourself tested. It's like $20,000 for like the testing, or like it's like,
wow, that's
insane.
That's not right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you're managed it now. You're doing all right. You don't you're able to sign contracts and
yes, actually. Yeah, and go through them. And
I can imagine that would be a tough one.
Yes. I have a lot of tools set up. Like I have my computer reads to me.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
I have a lot of those things. I have a lot of support in that sense. My boyfriend's very supportive. My boyfriend / guitarist.
Yes.
He's very supportive with that. Sometimes, he'll read something to me if, I just don't want to read it. Because that's what it comes down to. Yeah, well, something I learned by one of my specialized tutors was that it takes a dyslexic brain 4 times the brain power as the average human to do the same task. So I get I can read 4 pages of a book and I'll be KO'd.
Yeah.
I'll be out for the night. Like, it's insane. I'm like reading, and that's why I don't get through books either. It just takes too long. I lose my interest, whatever. But it really, because of my schooling troubles, that was actually what geared me in the direction of, or steered me in the direction of music. Mm-hmm. I remember I used to get bullied a lot because I couldn't read. Mm-hmm. And I would come home and I would like lock myself in my room and I would just sing and cry for hours. And it was like my mom would have to come in and say like, okay, well, it's time to go to bed, or it's time to eat now, or like something. But there was no stopping me. Like, it was really, don't bother me. This is like my time of like where I can let everything out. I felt like a total alien. Mm-hmm. It was, nobody had the same struggles as me. I didn't know anybody in school that did. So it was until I met some people in like the resource area and stuff like that, but they had different challenges than me. Sure. So, cause I got put into class with kids of all types of struggles. So where it did help, I still didn't really meet anybody that had the same struggles as me.
And that's an important thing too, is to be able to commiserate with somebody and say, oh my God, I can't get through this book, or I can't get through this lesson that we have to do. So,
So, and that's why my mom, introduced me to Eminem. And, I learned about so many different celebrities that were dyslexic too, like Tom Cruise, Whoopi Goldberg. Like, there were whether you like them or not, whatever. But it was just cool to know. Yeah. Like Tom Cruise has somebody read him the lines of his scripts so that he could learn them. So I thought that was so interesting, because you're seeing people that are at this like fantastic level in their career, but they have the same struggles as me. So it was very inspiring. And at one point I just would sing so much that my mom said like, hey, do you want singing lessons? I was like, I think so. I had tried guitar, hated it. Tried piano, hated it. Now I love them. Now, like I started teaching myself how to play piano. I play piano to get around, kind of thing. Me and Robbie, my guitarist, we do duo gigs sometimes, and I'll play the piano and he's on the acoustic guitar. So he could still do the solos and have something going on behind.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
By no means am I a fantastic pianist, but enough to get around and to write music. I write all my songs on piano. So.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of my regrets is that I never truly learned piano. I play keyboards now the way I type. It's kind of I don't use all my fingers, but
that's okay.
But for recording purposes or whatever, I can.
It's whatever works.
Get it down. Yeah.
I don't believe it. Look, Hendrix did the thumb thing that is technically wrong, but now it's something that people adopt all the time.
Oh, absolutely. So, he had massive hands.
Yeah.
So it sounds like all of this really, prepared you. Better than prepared you. You've proven that you have the integrity to work through whatever, I remember somebody asking me, I was trying to hire somebody at our company, and we wouldn't hire anybody who didn't have a university degree. And it's like, well, I've been working in this industry forever. Why do I need a university degree? And it's like, it's not the degree. It's getting through 3 or 4 years of university is the challenge. It doesn't matter what you're learning. You would think you'd pick a topic that you love, so that it makes it a little easier. But nevertheless, no matter how much you love it, and I can attest to it, it's hard. It is. Yeah. I had to give up my social life completely. For sure. Just like I knew I wanted to go and do it in one shot, and I had to give up everything, and that was between phase 1 of my music life and phase 2 of my music life. I went back to university, and so you're a full-time musician now, correct?
For the most part, yes. I've gone back and forth because I was a full-time musician, and then COVID hit. And so actually I was studying at Berklee College of Music right before COVID. So I had been at Berklee for about 3.5 years, and then COVID hit. And I was studying songwriting, vocal performance, and I did like a little bit in audio engineering. Okay. But I dropped audio engineering not because I wanted to, but because being at an Ivy League school, you're taking 16 classes for one semester. In 1 week to have 16 classes, it's near impossible to get through. I can't imagine. Especially for somebody with a learning disability. Yeah. But I was at a 3.0.
Oh, wow.
At Berklee.
Nice.
And, me and my dad had a long conversation about it. And we, he had said to me, this is just a perfect example of excelling in something and not. Like, you're in school. You didn't do well in this type of schooling, but when it was something that you cared about and meant something to you, you were able to lock in. And now I wasn't fantastic. Like I did pretty badly in ear training. My theory is awful. I actually didn't get accepted into Vanier.
Okay.
And I remember I didn't want to go to Vanier. That was like my mom, I wasn't going to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to go to university or CEGEP or college. I didn't want to do any of it. I was like, get me out of high school and like, let's just, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom was like, well, you have to do something, like whatever, apply for Vanier. My brother Brandon had gone to Vanier for bass, but he didn't finish Vanier. They thought that he was too skilled. And so they didn't feel, he felt like there wasn't that much that he was getting out of it. The teachers kind of had said,
I see, yes.
you know, not exactly, but like just show up to graduation, you know, like we can't teach you anything. And it was very discouraging for him. You know, he wanted to learn as much as he could.
Mm-hmm.
But me, I didn't think that I was going to get into Vanier. Because I didn't have any theory knowledge.
Right.
And if I wasn't going to get into Vanier, there was absolutely no way I was going to get into Berklee. So I had applied to both. My mom forced my hand. I didn't want either of it. And I remember going to the audition for Vanier. I got a 0 on the theory test. I don't know what they scored me for like the audition part,
right.
But I remember them telling me, so we only have one slot available and we're actually going to take a different singer than you, not because they're better than you, but because we're here to make teachers, not performers.
Oh, really?
That's actually what they said to me.
Oh, wow.
And I was shocked. I would have never expected them to say that. But I guess it made sense afterwards because I have like tons of friends from Vanier. And I mean, my boyfriend is like, he studied at Vanier. My bass player, he studied at Vanier. I know a ton of people there, and I know a ton of people that are doing the artist thing. But when I've talked to them about this, they said like, yeah, it really was more tailored towards like the academic side of it rather than like the performance aspect.
Right.
Where Berklee is like a full performance school. So I got declined from Vanier, and obviously I was so bummed because it just clicked with me that like, well, that means I'm not getting into Berklee. And even though I didn't want to go, I guess it still bothered me enough that like maybe I wasn't good enough to do that. But 3 days later, I got a phone call from Berklee, and they were offering me a rock scholarship to the school.
Oh, wow.
And it was actually what they wanted to do was because I did so bad in my theory, because I did bad in theory over there too, but I got 100% on my rhythmic, my rhythmic test. I got really great on my performance. I think I auditioned with I forget what it was, but I think it was either Bohemian Rhapsody or Highway to Hell. 2 very unconventional songs to audition with. And yeah, so it was really like I did well on my ear training for the most part. Like it was passable. But my theory was awful. So what they said to me was, we're giving you this scholarship. It's for a 5-week program. And basically they wanted to get me there so that I can have like a pre-theory class before I go into the actual school.
Oh, okay. Great idea.
It was fantastic. I was so grateful because I got to like learn the lay of the land in like 5 weeks of the school, got to meet all these people from 70 different countries. I got to, meet so many amazing teachers, and then I got to go to Berklee, and I got to study what I wanted to study, which was songwriting and vocal performance. And I had fantastic teachers. Like my performance teacher, God, I love him. But I almost dropped his class because he scared the living shit out of me. Like, genuinely. He's James Taylor's brother, Livingston Taylor.
Good God.
Yeah. And I remember being in that class and watching him have another student. There was a stage, and because it's a stage performance class, and he made this poor kid walk up 3 steps onto the stage for 20 minutes until he was satisfied with how this guy walked up on stage.
Wow.
And I was sitting there like, this man is going to eat me alive. I call my dad. I'm like, Dad, get me out of here. Like, I need to change. Like, teachers, I'm terrified. I'm going to be buried.
Mm-hmm. But you didn't.
I didn't. The next class was my turn to get up on stage. And oh God, he loved me.
Oh.
He loved me. He actually ended up using me as an example for singers to not have to have microphones. So he would stand at the back of the auditorium and try to hear us. And I was one of the few students that he was able to hear because I really can project, and I've worked really hard on that. And we became buddy, because of that. And it was really fantastic. I knew that I had to have my ducks in a row when I was going to that class. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of teachers at Berklee there that were quite intimidating, and I hated them at first until I would kiss the ground they walked on. My ear training teacher, Paul Stiller, he was a drill sergeant. Mm-hmm. Oh, God. And you were terrified if you came into that class unprepared, because he would call on you even if he knew that you didn't know what was going on. That was his thing. But I stayed and I chatted with him so many times. I did this with a lot of my teachers. I stayed for after hours. I really worked hard. That's the thing, I'm not opposed to working hard, and I don't give up very easily. So
clearly.
Yeah. Yeah. So I ended up building all these great relationships with these like super scary people that were fantastic musicians that like I looked up to, but I was terrified to dive in, and I had, fantastic songwriting teachers and just arranging teachers, ensemble teachers. I was very, very grateful for my experience at Berklee. Obviously we make some mistakes. I got a little bit too wrapped up in a toxic relationship over there that actually some of my music is written about.
Okay.
And that can kind of change your gears a little bit.
Absolutely.
So if I could go back in time, funny enough, because I have a song, Back in Time. If I could go back in time, there would be quite a few things that I would change.
Sure.
I would focus more on the networking aspect than maybe like the personal life aspect. You're young. I had just turned 21. So it was like, or maybe 22, like it was a big learning experience. So, yeah. It was really a really fantastic, eye-opening experience, but everything is hindsight's 20/20. So you learn later on in life, what you could have done differently. But I don't have any regrets. I'm trying to live my life without any regrets, and I still learned so much from being there and from those teachers. My next door neighbor was Victor Wooten.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he was a teacher at the school.
Okay.
I got to sit in on some of those classes. It was just such an amazing learning experience.
That is, a fantastic experience that you had that. Yeah. Was it really the focus on building musicians, or did they teach you industry stuff as well?
So Berklee is fantastic for that because, for example, like you can take classes of any kind. So Berklee has degrees from songwriting, vocal performance, film scoring, conducting, music therapy, music business, Like, it's really the whole scope of everything music related. So I got to take a music business class just as an elective. I took a jingle writing class with one of the number one jingle writers in America. He wrote NBC.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. John Aldridge. He was fantastic. I loved him.
He must be a very old man at this point. That jingle's been around for a long time.
He was quite old, and I hope he's still doing great. He said he was a real funny guy. He would always make these jokes. He'd walk in with like a stack of checks. And he would always tell people, "Oh, Berkeley's just my pocket money. Berkeley's just my spending money," you know. So
nice.
Yeah, it was always hilarious. I got to work. I got to take some Pro Tools classes as well with another teacher that I love, Dan Cantor. He actually did a lot of the production for some of the Aerosmith albums.
Oh, nice.
So that was crazy for me.
I recognize that name.
Yeah, he's kind of all over everything. He was fantastic. Taught me how to mic up a drum kit. Taught me all of those really cool things that, like, now as a singer, because, you know, at the same time, Berkeley can be a little bit sexist towards women.
Oh, really?
Unfortunately. They, you know, a lot of, it's not even just Berkeley as, like, the school, but a lot of the students, too, like, they see you're a girl, the first thing they say is, "Oh, are you a singer?" Oh, like, but do you do anything else? It's always like kind of it's somewhat belittling, but like kind of shadowed in a sense.
Yeah.
I had an ensemble teacher. I was in a classic rock ensemble.
Okay.
And it was a bunch of guys. Like, I was in this ensemble with 6 guys, and it was just me. And they're picking songs like Clapton and, you know, just different rock guys, like classic rock guys. And then the teacher looked at me and said, "So what are some songs that you would want to do?" So I'm naming, like, Joan Jett, Blondie, Pat Benatar, Ann Wilson. Like, Heart's one of my all-time favorite bands.
Sure.
The Dog and Butterfly album, like, had me in a chokehold for forever. And my teacher looked me dead in the face and said, "What other songs? Women can't rock." And I was like,
terrible.
What am I doing here? What am I doing here in this class if women can't rock? You know, I dropped the class. I told him, I said, like, "I'm going to drop your class." And I guess he didn't think I was going to, but I did. And then about a week and a half later, he comes knocking on my door. "We want you back. Can you consider coming back? Like, nobody sings the rock stuff like you." But I thought girls can't rock. So I had ended up in a different ensemble, a blues rock ensemble, which was my favorite. I loved that ensemble so much, and because blues is one of my favorite genres of all times, if not my favorite genre. And I remember, you know, even just talking about this with my blues teacher. And, you know, everybody that heard about that was just so shocked about it. You know, it's like, how can you say that women can't rock? And I had another ensemble teacher, Marty Walsh, who he also was the one that, you know, went to bat for me for that rock scholarship too.
Okay.
Which I hadn't known about that before. Because it was, you know, between me and this other girl. And Marty was saying to me, like, "Hey, I think you should go and you should cover Highway to Hell." And really stick it to him, you know. And this is one of his coworkers, so it was just really funny, and I did just that, you know. So it was, and then we started performing Highway to Hell very regularly as our closer when I got back to Montreal, which was during COVID time because Berkeley shut down.
Okay.
So everything went to online, and like as a dyslexic kid, like I don't learn well online. I'm a very
That's
in person. I mean, I had endless amount of tutoring even at Berkeley. I had like specialized tutors at Berkeley. I had specific one-on-one time that I could leave classrooms to go and do what I had to do, like with other people that were helping me get through this Ivy League school, because Berkeley throws so many classes at you because they want to keep the strong ones. They basically want to weed out like the weak links.
Yes.
And I'm here like fighting for my life. You know, like I've done this my whole life. So, you know, I ended up not doing the diploma. I didn't do the degree program. I ended up doing the diploma program, or vice versa. I can't remember. Whichever one's lesser. I guess diploma's lesser. Yeah. So I did diploma, which cut me down to 12 classes.
Okay.
Which is still insane. Like, if you think
12
about
classes
it,
a
you
week.
know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when I was in university, I had maybe 6, and one of them was a lab, so it wasn't.
Yeah, no,
because you got to go home and well, practice what you learn.
Yep.
And
and you have to eat, and you have to sleep, and you have to network, and you have to play gigs, and
were you performing out there while you were going to school?
So I wasn't performing for the first maybe 2.5 years.
Okay.
There, I was performing at some like Berkeley school things, but as far as like the Boston kind of circuit, I wasn't doing that. I later put together a band there, and we tried to do some of that stuff, but COVID hit like around that time, and so I came back to Montreal.
Okay.
But yeah, I would love to go back and perform in Boston and do some of those things, because it was a really great experience. I wouldn't want to live in Boston, but no, I
wouldn't want to live in the U.S., period.
Honestly, same. I do say that a lot, because my mom really wants to move to the U.S., but it's nostalgia for her. Like,
sure,
that was where the best years of her life were, you know? So, and then like my dad is like totally against moving to the States, and me and my brothers, like, well, one of my brothers now, like, he has a family, like he's not moving right now. 2 of my other brothers, they work in a company together, like they own a company together, and they're talking about moving to like a countryside somewhere.
Okay.
But I'm thinking like, oh God, don't go to the South, you know? Like,
oh, gosh.
like, I shouldn't say that, but because I love Southern people, but there's just a lot that goes on there, you know, as well. So,
yes,
you know, all the people that I've met from there are super kind-hearted. You just hear all the stories, right? But my brothers were talking about moving to the South. Yeah. So, because they can get, you know, you can get really affordable homes that are much larger than you can get here for the same amount of money.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So
that was their thought process there. They were going to build kind of like a work home, if that makes sense. So, but, you know, everything's always up in the air. Right now, like, I'm not really looking to move. I don't want to live in the States. I never have wanted to live in the States. I'm a true, like, diehard Canadian.
Good for you.
I love Canada. I can't say I'm a diehard Canadian because, don't kill me, but I'm not the biggest hockey fan.
That's okay.
But that being said,
so that Carey Price sweater on the back of your chair is burning.
Yeah, exactly. You know, no, it's okay. It's okay. I can respect it. You know, there's just other sports that I would watch before hockey, funny enough. But yeah, I'm a diehard, like, Canadian girl. Yeah. Like, I love being able to walk out of my house and at any time of the night and know that for the most part I'm going to be safe.
Yeah.
Especially like a young woman walking alone, like at nighttime, it's not always the smartest thing.
I
whatever.
would not do that.
Yeah,
no matter where you are.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. When I was younger and hanging out downtown, it never crossed my mind that it's 2:00 in the morning. I shouldn't be walking down this back road,
down this a dark alley, all by yourself.
Absolutely.
You know.
And then I went to Well, I was telling you earlier, I worked for U.S.-based companies out in California. Mm-hmm. Actually, they were all out in California. Anyway, I was working and staying out there for a bit and hanging out with a buddy who was a guitar player, and we went out to see a blues band.
Yeah.
I had picked him up in my car, and I dropped him off, and he was telling me how to get back to my hotel, and he said, just whatever you do, don't go east of the 101. It is no man's land over there. And I was like, seriously?
Yeah.
Like, it's that bad? He goes,
Yeah.
don't. If they say a rental car pull up in that neighborhood, you're done. I'm like, oh, I couldn't live in that kind of environment that if you take a wrong turn, you're doomed.
So this is so funny that you say this, because I have been given like a really wonderful opportunity, actually, because one of my really close friends from Berkeley, we stayed really good friends after Berkeley. She lives in California. Mm-hmm. Actually, they go by they, them, so let me correct myself there. Mm-hmm. And their name is Ari, and Ari works for BMG. And BMG is like one of the biggest sync and licensing companies. Mm-hmm. And I'm, like me and Ari were in the songwriting degree together. And we did a lot of our arranging classes together and all of that. And at one point, Ari sent me a text and was like, I'm currently in a meeting with BMG. Mm-hmm. We're looking for a female rock singer. Hang tight. And so, and it's out of the blue. And because Ari and I are one of those, we're that friend group where like, you don't have to talk every day. It just never changes. Yes. So, Ari's sitting in the room. They get me on the phone in the conference. And I was like, duh, I would love to be part of this. Hello, like, excuse me. Mm-hmm. So I actually flew to LA, and this was maybe 2 years ago. I flew to LA, and I had my first job with BMG, and I got to work on. We wrote either 5 or 6 songs. I can't remember. I believe it was 5 songs we wrote in 4 days, fully
nice.
Written, recorded, produced, mastered,
wow,
sent to BMG catalog. And I wrote, it was a team of 4, so it was really cool. I got to meet these really, really awesome musicians. Actually, one of the writers is the bass player for Olivia Rodrigo.
Oh, okay.
And she tours with Olivia Rodrigo regularly. But all the people I worked with there were a couple girls that I got to work with, and they were fantastic. And it was such a big learning experience because I had never written for sync and licensing before. Mm-hmm. But I had one of those moments of like, this is what I have to do. Mm-hmm. This is it. Like, this is where I need to be. Mm-hmm. And then it just dawned on me that, like, why don't I try and get as much into the sync world as possible while still doing the artist thing? Because if I can support myself through sync and licensing while still doing my craft, like, holy hell, I met like, I'm there. Yeah. I did it.
Yeah.
And so, we got some pretty cool placements. One of the songs is on like a show on Netflix, Building the Band. America's Got Talent. One of the seasons it's on, like maybe season 17, something like that. Some other shows that I'm not 100% sure of. And then literally the reason why it was so hard for me to book this with you the past couple of weeks was I was writing for Hallmark.
Oh, nice.
So I wrote 2 Christmas songs for Hallmark.
Cute, nice.
Love them.
You have to let me know when they come out.
I will, because honestly, they're so cool. And I told myself when I was younger, like, I'm never going to write a Christmas song. I am not that artist. I do not want to have a Christmas song. I don't even celebrate Christmas. So it's,
Well, let me ask you right there. I'm quite envious that you got to go to school and study music and all the experiences it brought you. To just take a step back for me, I played in the late 70s through the 80s. By 87, I was married and very disillusioned with music. It hadn't brought me... Yeah. But I had no formal training. I had nothing. I mean, I took some music in high school, but and I was like, okay, I cannot make a living. I can't start a family like this. So that I just dropped out, went back to school, and but later, explicitly, the David Letterman show at night, watching that, and I'm watching, because when they had a guest musician on, Paul Schaefer's band was the backup band, and I started to think, God, that would be a sweet gig, man. You get to play almost every day. You get to meet some of the best musicians out there. You're home at night. You're home for dinner. No 3 o'clock in the mornings. No loading in. No loading out. And I'm like, and it was at that moment I thought I should have gone back in music and been able to apply in situations like that. So back to your story is when you were there, did it ever? You're a singer, and that's what you were pursuing. But did you ever think, like, where could I take this that's not strictly lead singer of a rock and roll band? A session musician, a session vocalist. I mean, have you thought about not being a rock star, but being a very successful performer musician?
It's something I've thought a lot about recently because there's a lot of things that have gone on in my life in the last 4 years, I would say, that really made me have to stop and think. So, look, I had really great opportunities growing up. I was working with Ubisoft when I was 14. I had my first record deal at 14. I had my second...
You did voiceover or something for a video game or something.
I have 2 original songs on the Just Dance video games.
Oh, that's cool.
So one was at 14, and then one I did with them at 16, and I was with them till I was 18. And that was a very interesting experience. The first song, there was like a whole legal thing that happened where they actually we couldn't release the music video. There was the producers that were on it were very shady, and they stole a lot of money. And so that project, although it came out, it got shut down really quickly, and they had to stop making that game because of this lawsuit. Like that one specific version of that game. Yeah. So they still had Just Dance, all the other, 1, 2, 3. I think it was 3 that was the problem, and then I did 4, and I did like 2014 or something. Or I did 4 in 2014, and 4 was the one that was the problem. But it was really... The second one was great. The music video came out, like it's up online. I went by a different name, because yes, as we said earlier, Tatum's not my real name, but I was going by my legal name at that time, which was Sammy, and I remember the first Just Dance, it was Sammy with a Y. The second Just Dance, it was Sammy with an I-E. And that's actually how I used to write it, was with an I-E. They told me that they hated my name at Ubisoft. They said they hate my name. It's too young. We want something more mature. But I was working with UB France. So they said you have 1 week to find your name, and that's what it's going to be. So I did. I'm with my brothers writing all these papers of names that I like, and do I want, one name, like do I want to be Madonna or do I want to be like Taylor Swift? Right. Do I want 2 names? I don't know. I ended up going with the 2-name thing, and I had met this one girl, and her name was Tatum. And it was the only female I had ever met named Tatum. I've only ever met like guys named Tatum or people with last names Tatum. And obviously we know our Channing Tatum. So they gave me they gave me that week. I brought them the name. They hated it. But the week was over, so that's the name. And that's the name that stuck. And everybody loved that name, you know, and still to this day loves that name. Like, I love the name. I think it really works. And I would say most people actually know me now more as Tatum than they do as, like, Sam. So, and I never care, like, if people address me as, like, my legal name, it's fine. But most people don't. So I had to really get used to that. And now I find, like, I answer more to Tatum than I answer to my real name. So it's really interesting. But moving forward, I've seen a lot in the music industry. Being, like, having different record deals at such a young age. I weighed 105 pounds, and they're telling me I need to lose 15 pounds,
Good
you
God.
know. And at that age, being 14, I still said, like, so you want me to be unhealthy so I look healthy on camera? I said that. I was 14, and obviously, like, my family is, like, clutching their pearls, like, like, oh my God, this is gonna be a disaster kind of thing, whatever. But I was still with Ubisoft even when I went to Berkeley, and I left them when I turned 18.
Okay.
And because I think I was at Berkeley 5 week around, like, the 18. I was turning 19.
Okay.
So I just try to get all my timelines right, which is never accurate in my mind. But so I had a lot of, like, I was so bummed out when, like, a bunch of these things fell through. I had other companies approach me for other things, music related, that, you know, I'm 16 years old. They want to cut out my parents. But what is a 16-year-old making financial decisions on a 10-year contract? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So obviously my parents are very protective, so they were like, no. So I did see a lot of bullshit in the music industry. And I've worked with, because I was in the music industry from such a young age, I worked with so many great people and so many awful people. So when I got to doing and I never gave up. I never said, like, okay, this is not for me. I'm done with this shit. I'd never said that. So then when I got to the BMG thing, it was very eye-opening for me because it showed me a completely different world than I had ever known before. I was going just solely on that, like, rock star, pop star route. Like, that's all I had been working towards. I had a YouTube channel where I was getting anywhere from, like, 100,000 to 400,000 views on the videos. My mom and I, we would shoot the videos, and her and my relationship, it was, like, super tumultuous at that time. Like, I'm a teenage girl doing something career-wise with their mother. So it was, and my mom's very protective, and my mom worked in the film industry. And so, you know, a lot of cooks in one kitchen. So it was very hard on our relationship. And I remember, you know, at one point I was having, like, no fun. So I gave up on that. And I stopped doing the videos. And I just watched, you know, like, all my numbers decline, which is fine. Like, music isn't about numbers. It shouldn't be about numbers. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in now. But with age, I'm learning that, like, the connection is the more important part of it. And so, I had to meet all these awful people, and not to say everybody at Ubisoft was awful, because I actually very much disagree with that. I had a great experience with Ubisoft for the most part. And it was just a lot of, you can really see, like, the toxicity in the music industry. And then getting to do the sync and licensing stuff, while they still take a huge percentage of everything that you do for them, you're writing for them. It's different than licensing your music with them, and then
they're telling you how they want it to sound.
Exactly. And that was the same thing for Homework. So, like, I love doing that. Like, I got really inspired by the sync and licensing stuff, and it's actually something I've been focusing on very strongly, trying to meet as many people in that world and trying to get my foot in there as much as possible, because I do think that that will lead me to where I really want to be. It'll give me I'll meet a lot of people, but basically something that I haven't yet spoken about publicly, as I've been told by many people, you know, like, keep this to yourself. People are going to judge you. People are not going to book you. People are going to this, they're going to that. It's going to ruin your career. But it's a very real thing that I've been dealing with for 4 years. And so basically about 4 months ago, I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease.
Oh, no.
And it's been a 4-year battle of trying to get this diagnosis. And so basically what happened was I went out for some food, and it was Indian food. I love Indian food. It's one of my favorite meals. I love spice. Spice doesn't love me. So I always get really mild food. And I was eating it, and it was abnormally spicy. My boyfriend, who can eat spice, like, he could put it in his eyes and he'd be fine, was like, oh, wow, this is really spicy. Burnt a hole in my stomach.
Oh, no.
And and it's, you know, it's fitting for the name of your podcast, actually.
I had no idea. I promise you, I had no idea.
But I had like a 3-day episode of going to the bathroom nonstop, and I was vomiting every 10 minutes for 3 days. I lost 20 pounds in 3 days.
Jesus.
I was in the hospital. I had like 4 bags of fluids like for me. I was in excruciating pain. Like I was in pain from how much I was throwing up. I was getting like a ton of spasms in my stomach, and I was in pain from the ulcer that I had.
Right.
And nobody, you know, I still had to wait in the hospital. The first day was like 17 hours. I'm waiting there with like a bucket, and you can see I look like...
At the lakeshore?
No.
Downtown?
I wouldn't go to the lakeshore. But yeah, I was downtown, okay. Which, you know, at that time, like, you know, everything was really packed anyways. It's still really packed. The hospitals are... They're overworked. The doctors are overworked. The nurses are overworked. I totally understand. Like, this is not their fault. It's the system's fault. Like, it's how this is built and everything. But, you know, we do have to do better. Because I was waiting for 17 hours on the first day. And the second day, I waited 14 hours. Jeez. So, and they didn't keep me overnight. So, for the first time that I was there. And... basically what happened was it burnt holes in my vocal cords because I got very bad acid reflux.
Yes.
So now on top of Crohn's, I have like a chronic acid reflux issue, and I'm on like all the medication I could possibly be on, and it still doesn't help. I've done all the testing. I'm waiting to see if I'm a candidate for any type of like esophagus like surgeries, but that was basically at the peak of when we were really getting our name out there. We were playing like 60 shows. Like, I had to cancel like 60 shows legitimately. And I don't cancel shows. I can have 105 fever and I'm going to be there. Like, I'm going to take some Advil and I'm going to be there. I do not cancel shows. And I remember being standing like at the phone and needing to make a decision like that day of, do I cancel these shows or not? Because I basically, after my episode was over and I took, you know, like 3 weeks to kind of heal, I went back to the singing thing, and I started losing my voice all the time, halfway through the set. Like, even closer than halfway. It was maybe even 4 or 5 songs in. And we're a band that was on that circuit. Like, we were doing 3 sets of 45 minutes, Friday, Saturday. Sometimes we would do Thursday. So And we were doing high energy songs, hard songs. We're playing Don't Stop Believing. We're playing Highway to Hell. We're playing rock and roll. We're playing all these songs that are so vocally challenging.
I would say,
back to back to back to back. And I never had a problem. I never had an issue. I never lost my voice a day in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so discouraged. And I remember I'm sitting in my bedroom with my boyfriend, my mom, my dad, my brothers, and I'm sobbing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I can see ahead that I'm losing everything that I've ever worked towards in my entire life. All at once. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to sing again. I don't know if that, like, these are my thoughts. Like, I don't know that I would be able to. I don't know. It feels like the acid reflux never going to go away. At that point, I'm down to eating like 4 foods, like, because I can't eat anything. Now I rotate about 10 foods. But I'm on, like, I just got into like the IBD clinic. I'm on a wait list for like a dietitian that specializes in Crohn's disease and acid reflux. So I've been, with Mama Bear too, like, there's no stopping. We haven't given up with that either, but there's been it has been the hardest 4 years of my entire life.
I can imagine like that. When I was asking the question about have you considered the other opportunities that are there for you, your answer. So I had several other follow-up things I wanted to know about, and you just gave it all to me. You're not only prepared for the business, you've really got a good handle on where you are at in the mix. I was talking to people about, having a young person in to chat with, and they said, don't crush your soul, because I've heard stories, I know bad things can happen, but it seems like you've had a pretty broad experience in the industry in general.
Yeah.
And this is a quote I've read from time to time. It's from Hunter S. Thompson, and it says, "The entertainment industry is a cruel and shallow money trench, a long plastic hallway where thieves and pimps run free, and good men and women die like dogs." There's also a negative side.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. It's perfect.
And I'm just really pleased that you've got this very good heads up attitude towards what you want to do. Where ideally you know what you want to do.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, you seem to be nimble enough to change your tack and approach it. Hell, you've always got songwriting, right?
But that's the thing, right? And I'm somebody that's I'm trying to get better at it, but I'm very non-confrontational. I'm kind of like a peacekeeper, but that doesn't always work in your favor. And so, it's really trying to navigate that with like the music industry at the same time.
Yep.
And to not get like squashed. And also, I had a really rough time during these 4 years. Like, I know that, I come out on the other side of things, and I can see it, from that other perspective of like where I'm at right now versus when it started. But, we just had our first show, and it was literally on Saturday. We played at Esco Griff with...
Oh, I saw the ad for that.
Yeah, with a band that we love, Stout, and we opened for them. And we just did, a 2-band bill, which is always nice. We get an hour, they get an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's beautiful. Like, it's a lovely experience to have that. But I was shitting my pants. Like, terrified. I've been back in I've been taking vocal lessons again, with my wonderful opera teacher, because I have different types of vocal coaches. I have my belting coach, I have my opera coach, there's tons of different techniques, and I really felt that I was never going to get my life back. Sometimes I still feel that way because I can still lose my voice on the drop of a dime. Like, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to show up.
Right.
So it just means that my recovery is going to be a lot longer. So if I sing on a voice that is all refluxy and I've lost it and I'm hoarse and I push through that, instead of, having 2 weeks to recover, it's now a month and a half of no talking, legitimately no talking. I have a board at home. Don't talk to me. But I think that I had to live a lot of this to be able to handle what I've been thrown now.
Yep.
So we had this show and I was terrified. Literally, how could I go? It was almost a year. It would have been, if we didn't play on Saturday, as of August, it would have been a year because the last time we played was Ribfest.
Oh my gosh.
And that's terrifying. We had just gotten off of like tons of festivals, and Ribfest was our final festival that we were doing of the summer.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't get my voice back in shape. I was like, my voice was blown from like the different festivals, and I was super stressed even at Ribfest. But we did the best we could, and my bandmates are super supportive. We did some songs that had a little bit longer, like guitar solos or musical interludes or things like that, to let me like take some time to just adjust, you know? And I won't lie to you, like, I cry all the time, genuinely. Like, I genuinely worry that I'm never going to get back to where my prime was. But the thing is now I'm learning a completely different way of singing so that if I don't get my bread and butter back, I'll just use peanut butter and jelly. Like, it's weird, but like, I don't want to give up on it. I love doing the sync and licensing stuff and tracking the vocals on that, but performing is where I feel like I belong.
Right.
I've been bullied my whole life. I've had so many challenges my whole life, and I know it sounds silly to say that because I'm just like this girl that grew up in the West Island, had supportive parents, like, but people don't realize what growing up in the music industry does to you, and they don't realize like how targeted you are, especially as like a young female, to like sell sex, and your body is actually the only thing that matters. Your voice is secondary to that. So there was a lot of challenges to get over, and then teachers that were really rough telling me that I should give up on my hobby and get a real job. Genuinely, high school teachers telling me that, where I just replied like, what? Like a teacher that makes less than I will? So
those who can do.
Yeah, exactly, right? So and I got suspended from that class, like, for saying that. But you know what? I went home and my parents gave me a high five, because don't come up here and be that type of person, be like, you're a teacher, you're teaching high school kids. Support them, support their dreams, support what they want to do, whether or not you think it's realistic. These are kids, they're impressionable. So now I'm doing everything I possibly can. I've changed my whole lifestyle. The way I eat is completely different. I have to manage my stress because acid reflux comes with stress. I can deal. I've figured it out. I can deal with the Crohn's stuff. It sucks. That's like an unfortunate gift my grandfather gave me. Yeah. But I can deal with it. I can deal with stomach pain. I can deal with going to the bathroom, whatever. I can't deal with not being able to have my career.
Yes.
And I've had so many doctors tell me, well, just look for a different avenue. And my mom, being Mama Bear, says, so you're a surgeon. What if I cut off your hand? What would you do? She said that to them, genuinely. And it gets them to shut up every time. They're like, oh, you're right.
Well, I think you've got a great deal of hope. You're a fighter. I can tell that. Yeah. And you'll do whatever you got to do to get there.
Yeah.
I
And we had an amazing show. It went
Yeah,
fantastic.
no, I would never have known that you were having any
Yeah.
troubles whatsoever.
But we're going to post videos of this show because it was fantastic. Like, my voice held up. Everything was great.
Super.
You
felt strong again.
I felt strong. I cried after the show, but it was tears of happiness. Like, it was with all the musicians. Like, it was like, I had to thank everybody for, like, you know, because nobody knows. Nobody knows what I've been going through except for my band and my family. Nobody knows. So I had to thank them all for, like, giving me the space to do this. And we just had such an amazing, like, heart to heart, all the musicians of, like, both of our bands. And it was such a beautiful experience that it feeds the fire again. It reminds you of why you don't give up on these things, because until you give up, you're not beaten.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to be beaten.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to figure it out.
Well, there's so many classic cases of very talented, famous Julie Andrews, Linda Ronstadt, Shania Twain, Celine Dion,
Yes.
Elton John. You know, they had their issues and they came back from. I mean, I think Shania had.
I just heard about that.
What was it?
It was
when you get a flea tick disease,
Lyme disease.
That was it. Yeah,
She couldn't sing.
Yeah. And she thought her career was over, and here she's on a reunion tour.
Yeah,
I don't
Celine
recognize
Dion breaks
her, but
my heart, though.
Celine Dion, yeah. Well, she's back. She's apparently found some way to cope with her. So there's never give up hope.
Yeah, exactly.
And usually about this point in the episode, I mean, there's so many more things I would like to talk about, but
we can do a part 2.
Yes, well, absolutely. We really should. There's so many things. But I usually, and again, this is for the older folks, is I say, what would you tell your younger self? But you still are your younger self. You're at about the point where I gave up on music at your age. I moved on to something else. But you're still out there slugging it out. And I'm really hopeful that you find your happiness in whatever you're doing out there. And that you, I know what it's like to lose your voice singing something that was never a consideration. You just get up and sing, and I know what that felt like. And well, good for you that you're not just packing it in and taking a job at Walmart.
Well, that's what I would say is, if I and I would also say it to, like, the older generation too, because a lot of people like to shit on the older generation for still doing music, and they'll say pack it up. But the thing is like, we had to learn from you guys. You all set the foundation, and Elton John, he's one of my, I idolize him. All these guys, like, everyone you have on your walls, like, I could not have been more influenced by anybody else. So I would say that it's important that when life throws these horrible things at you, not always to just push through right away, but take that time to grieve what you've lost and then build a plan to get back what you've lost. And it might not be in the exact same way, but if it's, you know, if I had to choose to now sing instead of rock music, jazz music, I'm still singing.
Yeah.
I'm still giving something to people that I needed given to me at a young age to feel like I belonged somewhere. So it's never, and I have to tell this to myself, you know, like, it's not over. It's never over. It's never too late. It's never too late to learn an instrument, to start a band. It's never too late to change lanes.
Yeah, try new styles.
Everything.
Look how many old rockers have put out crooner albums. Rod Stewart put out the Great American Songbook.
Yeah.
You know, you get older, and your things that you enjoy, you adapt, you change, and that's a good thing. That's a great thing. To be stuck in a rut, doing the same thing all the time is not good. And I think that's what all of us who play music like about it. And the last comment I'm going to make on that is, I tell the people who are going to listen or watch this, when you go see a band and you're looking up at them, they're not necessarily your good time Charlie. You know, they're people who have dealt with, look, everything you've dealt with to be where you are. Yeah. Be kind, be respectful, and appreciative, and support them. Don't give them a hard time because they won't play Sweet Home Alabama or something like that. You know? Let them do their thing and have fun and enjoy that.
And more people in your immediate circle need to support their friends that are in the music industry as well. Yeah. We see a lot of that too. People willing to support all kinds of artists they don't know, but not, you know, your small town friend. Well,
Tatum, I have had an absolute blast. I didn't know what we were going to talk about, but I've really enjoyed hearing your story. I'm sure the listeners will enjoy it too. And I look forward to having you back later this year. We'll follow up and see how your summer went. And
definitely, because we got some really cool things coming out. So excellent. We got an EP on the way, and we got some fun things, some fun covers and videos that, you know, people can find online. So I can't wait to come back and chat with you. It's always such a pleasure getting to chat with you.
The old guys.
I love it.
Take care of yourself. Yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
You too.
Well, all right, that's a wrap. Huge thanks to Tatum Quinn for pulling up a stool and hanging out. If you liked what you heard, go check her out. Support local music, go to a show, buy some merch, make some noise. And before we go, one last check-in. How's your stool? I'm Dave Randall. This is Howz Yer Stool, and we'll catch you next time. This has been a Bandit Monterey production.